Yuzi opened his heavenly eye. The eye at the center of his forehead suddenly unleashed a brilliant golden beam that shot straight into the heavens. That radiant light pierced the void, shattering it apart, as though he was summoning something from beyond. In the next instant, gates to countless minor worlds manifested in midair. Each miniature world shone with a distinct hue, spreading across the battlefield in full view of everyone present. Witnessing this scene, Avon could not help but tremble in astonishment, struck speechless. The 9 realms of heaven surrounded the massive spatial rift in the sky, forming a colossal circle. From one of those minor worlds, purple lightning bolts suddenly descended, splitting the skies. Staring wide-eyed at the heavens, Avon exclaimed, "The space itself is collapsing. You actually command the 9 realms?" Yuzi wasted no words. With a wave of his hand, he commanded, "Advance, strike him down." At his order, the 9 realms surged forth, each one descending upon Avon with overwhelming might. Facing them head-on, Avon showed no fear and roared, "Watch me stop them." He thrust both hands forward, choosing to meet the assault head-on. The purple-hued minor world crashed directly into him. Avon screamed, "Aawa!" as his figure was torn apart, utterly obliterated beneath its impact. The purple world swept across the battlefield, smashing into the ground where Avon once stood. A deafening explosion resounded, leveling the terrain with its devastating power. From a distance, the tree of good and evil cried out in panic, "16-winged holy imperial weapon!" Ai Ware, locked in combat with the monstrous tree, was distracted by the immense shockwave. Her heart tightened as she whispered anxiously, "Master." As the smoke and dust cleared, Yuzi still stood tall and unmoving, towering over the battlefield. Yet after directing the 9 realms to assault Avon, his breath came heavy, his body slightly weakened from the strain. The tree of good and evil, enraged, charged at him, bellowing, "Damn you! How dare you!" Yuzi immediately sent his roots lashing out, coiling tightly around its massive body. The beast barely had time to cry out, "Ack!" before its head was slammed forcefully into the ground. The roots coiled around its neck, constricting until it gasped in suffocation. Appearing at Yuzi's side, Aiware asked in a trembling voice, "Master, have you succeeded in subduing the 16-winged holy imperial weapon?" Yuzi narrowed his eyes dangerously, replying coldly, "Not yet. I haven't defeated him." No sooner had he spoken than Avon's shattered body suddenly converged, gathering into a golden sphere. Within moments, his figure reformed, whole and immaculate, radiating a sacred brilliance from within that golden orb. Sensing his renewed presence, Aiware was shaken to her core. At her side, Yuzi's massive tree-like form unraveled into a writhing mass of roots. As they withdrew, his true body, now resembling a human-like figure, stepped forth from within. The golden light surrounding Avon was fully absorbed into his body. The massive void, torn apart earlier by Yuzi, suddenly began to shrink and stabilize. Watching the fractures in the sky rapidly mend, Aiware was stunned, thinking to herself, "The space. It's healing so quickly." Avon casually lifted a finger and snapped. Instantly, the tree of good and evil, which had been tightly bound by roots, was freed. The great tree swiftly returned to Avon's side. Yuzi's brows furrowed, his expression growing heavy. Avon curled his lips into a cold smile. "Boy, why don't we sit down and have a talk? What do you think?" Elsewhere, in the vast starry void, countless void beasts had already perished, their broken bodies drifting as fragments in the endless darkness. The first divine pillar's body had been shattered, leaving only a floating head as proof he had once fought, and perished, in this terrifying battlefield. Not far away, the Thunderlaw King's severed arm, crackling faintly with electricity, drifted weightlessly. A blood-stained wing from the angelic clan remained nearby, while in another place, the mangled remains of the elemental race were scattered across the void. The great emperor stood amidst the carnage, his gaze cold. His blood-red eyes blazed with murderous light, and his entire body radiated a terrifying aura. With a wave of his hand, a storm of spiritual power erupted and coiled around him. In the next moment, the emperor reverted to his colossal form, stomping down with such force that clouds of dust exploded into the air. Then, throwing his head back, the great emperor let out a deafening roar before advancing once more. His burning scarlet eyes narrowed as his killing intent surged. Exotic tree, I've come. This time, you won't escape my grasp. Meanwhile, back at Yuzi's side, the tree of good and evil reverted to its true form, planting its roots firmly into the ground to create a perch for Avon. Seated calmly upon one of its massive branches, Avon faced Yuzi, who stood upon his own roots. Avon fixed his eyes on him and spoke, "Do you really want me to become your weapon that badly? After fighting me just now, you must have realized something, haven't you? To be honest." He paused for a moment before continuing with no trace of concealment. "Doubt I am not complete." Yuzi lowered his gaze slightly, replying, "Nemen. Your spiritual power is indeed powerful in quality, but its quantity does not match its strength." Avon's eyes dimmed with remembrance as he spoke. "In an ancient era, so long ago I can barely recall it, we waged war against the heavenly Tao itself. Countless prodigies fell. Those of us who were imperial weapons were either destroyed or broken. My true body was half obliterated back then, and to this day, it has never recovered." Taking the initiative, Avon said, "Let me show you my true form. Perhaps then, you'll reconsider your desire to possess me." As he spoke, his figure began to shift, fading away as waves of spiritual energy erupted. A violent crimson light spread outward, engulfing the entire region. Ai Weir, standing not far away, stared intently at the scene, her thoughts trembling. Such power! And it's still rising. The crimson radiance spread across the island, spilling over the sea and painting the waters blood red. Yuzi raised his hand, shielding his eyes from the blinding brilliance. In the next instant, Avon's true form revealed itself. His body had transformed into a grotesque, monstrous eye. Behind him spread blood-dyed black wings, gleaming like stained obsidian. Opening a mouth filled with jagged teeth, he uttered in a chilling voice, "This is my true appearance.